Hey guys, so welcome back. My name is Bailey and I am the owner of Wire Weaved Uniques. Recently, I was asked when my next tutorial was going to be, and I decided to go ahead and jump on it. I was going to do this last week and I had started to do it and it just wasn't going well. So here we are again. Um, I am going to show you guys how to make a memory wire goddess bracelet with a magnetic clasp. Now, this design, it's not my design, but it is a very fun one and it's pretty simple. So what you want is some 6mm beads. I would count out approximately 60 to be on the safe side. You will need two 10mm jump rings and two 6 or 8mm jump rings. It really you can make any size jump ring work. So it doesn't have to be exactly what I have. Magnetic clasp or some kind of big lobster claw clasp. I would get like one of those big, nice, fancy, chunky ones if you don't want to use a magnetic, only because it is a little bit of a challenge to close the bracelet with the lobster claw clasps if it's like a small one. And you will need bracelet memory wire. This is a 2-inch diameter bracelet memory wire. And you'll need 22 gauge wire. And I'm going to be using this jeweler bronze from Rio Grande. Now for tools, you will need some tweezer nose just for touching up tweezer nose or chain nose, memory wire cutters. These are an absolute must-have if you're going to be playing around with memory wire. You'll need some flush cutters and some round nose pliers. Now for the loops, you can use your six-step pliers. You can use your memory wire pliers. You can use anything round really, as long as it's in the plier form, because it'll be easier. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So it's actually kind of funny because at my work recently, I taught a class. So these two pieces are kind of already pre-made, but I'm going to show you guys how to do it anyways. So with your memory wire, you are going to find the end ring and the ring next to that. Hang on, this thing is all kind of tangled. There we go. Make sure it's not tangled. So you're just going to let it rest, right? Don't force anything. You're going to take your memory wire cutters and we're going to cut right where the end meets. So you come up with this. And it's totally cool if they're not perfect. If it's like more than not perfect, then definitely give it a little trim. Just make sure you don't cut it too short. We're going to go ahead and cut a second ring. And what I'm doing is I'm lining up the blade with the end of, with this pokey end right here. That's how I can get them to come out pretty close to having the ends meeting up with each other. So we have our two pieces, magnets sticking to that. All right, we're going to move that. Now we need to make loops. I do recommend trying this out first. I highly recommend this if you have not played with memory wire before and it's your first time. Cut a scrap piece and just practice making this loop. What you're going to do is you're going to take your round nose pliers, and actually, just for you guys, I am going to make a little Sharpie mark on my pliers so that I remember what size I used. I am used to using just my 6-step pliers, which has multiple different sizes of loops. And it makes it easy because you would just use the same mandrel that you used the first time. I totally need a different Sharpie. That is not going to work. Okay, but if you're using round nose pliers, just make a Sharpie mark. And that's where you know you need to make your loops. Okay, so what we're going to do is you have to think about counter pressure. And the really important thing is this end, the end of the memory wire needs to be in between the pliers, the jaws of the pliers. You don't want it to be like this or it won't quite come out right and you won't have as much control. Memory wire is very stiff and you can really mess it up if you mess it up. There's no going back because it's memory wire. It's not like your dead soft wire. So from here, what I'm doing is I'm pushing against my index finger and I'm using my right hand and I'm just kind of rolling the wire. See how I rolled it a little bit? Just roll it and use counter pressure. I am pushing up with my left hand and down with my right hand for counter pressure. And you're releasing and turning and grabbing so you can keep making that loop. So we've made one loop. Now again, the other thing too is, see how it's shaped? I brought the loop up. You don't want to do it sideways to where the loop is like this. You need your loop to be upward. So think about that too. We're going to go ahead and do this on the other piece. I am lining up with my Sharpie marks again. And I'm going to use counter pressure to make that second loop. Now when you make these loops, you want to make sure that the pokey end meets with the wire. So if you've done this on a scrap piece of wire, good job. That means you got a feel for it. Now you should do it with your two pieces here. And now what we're going to do is you want to hold your two wires like this. You don't want them crossing over each other. You want to make sure they're next to each other, and you can give yourself plenty of space. All we're going to do at this point is put our beads on. Now I have a mix of beads because I was having a little bit of a hard time finding 6mm beads for this. So I had to scrounge up some extra beads just in case. But I think this will turn out to be really pretty, especially with the jeweler's bronze. We're just gonna get our beads on here. And really, realistically, honestly, you could do one at a time to make it easier on yourself. It's a work smarter, not harder type of situation. But since I'm doing a design, I am going to work on both at the same time so that I don't lose track really. Oh, see, I've already lost track a little bit. That's okay. I need one of these, and then one of these, and then another yellow turquoise jasper. We're going to go 1, 2. These are some check glass fire polish beads. There's 3. Please let me know down in the comments if you guys have enjoyed this so far. I'm really excited about putting up another tutorial. I love doing these videos. We're going to do another jasper. And do I have, let's see what I got going on here. I only have 5 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and just do one here. We're going to do another jasper and then another fire polish. And then a jasper. These. Jasper. Now before I get too far ahead, I am going to move on to this one. This is going to be a really cool bracelet. How many of these guys do I have left? Okay, we're going to switch to that. Then we'll do a jasper. Oh, there's 2 of those. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and go to this one. One of these on. And I'll go ahead and do another fire polish. I'll tell you what, this is a very interesting color combination, but I think this bracelet is going to turn out really awesome. Jasper. And then that one on. Jasper. I'm going to put this one on. And then a jasper. Oh yeah, this is great. Okay. This is a cool little balance that we got going on here. So as far as how many beads you need to put on, you need to leave yourself enough room to make another loop. So right here, let me measure this for you guys so you have a better idea. This is about a 1/2 inch because you gotta have enough room for that next loop. Oh, we're gonna add this one and another jasper, and all I have now, we'll do a fire polish. May as well use this last one. Okay, so now you want to take your pliers, your rounded pliers. If you're using these pliers, make sure you use your same Sharpie mark. If you're using your 6-step pliers or looping pliers, make sure that you use the same mandrel that you used on this loop. So again, with the counter pressure, I'm going to use my right hand to roll the wire, and I'm pushing against my left index finger. And I'm just rolling, release, grab, and roll. Release, grab, roll. Okay, so this really is so outside of my normal, but I'm really loving this color combination. And I think the bronze wire is just totally going to top it off. All right, and then go ahead and do your other little bracelet piece. Rolling, release, grab, roll, counter pressure, and that's good. Another really good thing is too, you don't want it to be so tight. You want some flex in there. If it's too tight, your beads will break. You really don't want it to be too tight. So the next step is you're going to take these loops. Well, actually, hang on a second. You're going to grab your jump ring. And it really helps to open jump rings with 2 pairs of chain nose pliers if you have it. And what I'm doing is I really like to grab like the half moon phase. That's what we'll call it. I'm grabbing at the half moon phase, and on the other side, I'm grabbing the other half of the moon. Trying to get the camera to focus. And you're going to open it side to side, just like that. And then what you want to do is take your 2 bracelet links and put the jump ring through both of those links. We're gonna close this up. Okay, I'm struggling just a little bit with this big jump ring. Bear with me for a moment, guys. There we go. Okay, so that's that. Now we're gonna grab wire, our 22 gauge, and we want to cut about 30 inches. So 14, 28. I'm using the length of my beading mat, which is about 14 inches long. And you just want to make sure your wire is smoothened out. You don't want any wonky duties. You don't want any wonky doozies in your wire. But it doesn't have to be like paper edge straight. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take one end and just give yourself a little tail. Give yourself a little tail so that you have enough. You can move this out of your way. Or you could do this wire part first. Really, there's no right or wrong order to do some of these things. What I'm doing is making one single wrap right where the loop is. And you don't want this wrap inside the loop. You want it like right underneath it where the pokey bit meets. And what I did was I flush cut off that tail. Flush cut means the flat face of your cutters are against your project. Then I like to take my tweezer nose pliers and really tidy up that coil so that it's just on there nicely. And we can always tighten it up after too. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our wire and we're going to go in a diagonal motion. So here's the first bead on the right bracelet link going diagonal. Try to avoid putting the wire in between the beads.
Hey guys, so right about here my microphone died. So as I was saying, try to keep your wire from going in between the beads. Right about here I am struggling a little bit. It is okay if that wire ends up sitting right underneath that second loop on the bracelet link. These first couple of wraps are a little bit fidgety. If you look, see how I just decided to wrap it on top of that bead there. So with this, to make it less fidgety, you have plenty of room to take that wire behind your bracelet links, and you just want to wrap in a downward diagonal motion. And when you're bringing the wire around the backside of your bracelet links, you want to kind of move downward in a diagonal motion that way as well. So if you see, it's kind of going down diagonally. I'm really excited to see how this bracelet turns out. I really wanted to note something very important. You don't have to feel like the wire around the beads has to be super tight. Make sure it's just a little bit loose because everything will fall into place once we get to the other side of the bracelet. You will find that your bracelet links are going to want to lay on top of each other instead of side by side. So as you're working your way down, you can see how I keep kind of making the links stay next to each other. You want to keep doing that because that really helps the formation and shape of your bracelet come out nicely. So you just keep working your way down, keep tidying the links, making sure they're next to each other and not falling on top of each other. And I will be back once we get to the end of this wire wrapping portion. Okay, guys, like I said before, my microphone had died, so bear with me at this part. Once you get to the end of your bracelet, you're going to take that wire and you're going to wrap around the loop that the wire is going towards, and you're just going to do one little loop. I'm kind of just futzing around with my jump ring there. So then you're going to take your flush cutters and you're going to cut but leave a little bit of a tail so that you can nicely tuck in that tail inside of that loop there, because then you won't feel it when it's sticking out. You don't want it to stick out. And right here, see how I'm grabbing the circle? It really helps closing ends like this when you grab the circle. That's my terminology for it anyways. So now I'm just checking flexibility, tightness, everything's nice and flowy. Now here, I am proceeding to show you guys with the smaller jump ring. It can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but there is a way to make it work. So you want to open your jump ring and you want to put it through the loop that is sitting lower first to then go through the upper loop. And sometimes you'll have to grab that upper loop and move it inward towards the bracelet to get it closer. But I know right here I did struggle a little bit. See how I moved it inward? It's completely doable. And I got it in there. And it's not like a huge pain in the butt. I just wanted to show you guys how to make it work if you don't have bigger jump rings. This is how you can make it work with smaller jump rings. Or if you are an experienced wire wrapper, you can make your own jump rings, which is awesome to be able to do that. Again, I appreciate you guys so much for watching my videos. It truly means the world. See? Totally and completely doable. But now I'm going to take that one out and I'm moving to the 10 millimeter jump ring, which proceeds to fly away here in a second. These jump rings, these thick jump rings, sometimes just slip. Yep, there it goes. Now I'm gonna go get it. I hope you guys don't mind this voiceover. I can't believe my microphone died, but I think I am doing a pretty good job considering. So, like I said before, you can go up the shorter loop, up to the taller loop, which it is a lot easier to do it that way. Then you're going to get your jump ring in both of those loops, and then you're going to close it right up. And with this, too, when I am opening and closing a jump ring, I visualize the jaws of my pliers holding a half moon where the opening is. That is so helpful. Like grabbing the whole half of the circle helps so much when it comes to opening and closing jump rings. So now I am grabbing the 6 millimeter jump rings and putting on the magnetic closure. Making sure that's nice and closed. Closing the circle. I apologize for going out of frame a little bit, you guys. See how I grabbed the half moon and now I'm getting that second jump ring on the big one. Getting the clasp on there. If you're working with a magnetic closure, it's only natural that it's going to be a little finicky. You just got to figure out how you're going to hold it. So here I'm talking about how I have a little bit of an opening on the jump ring and I'm grabbing the circle to make that jump ring nice and flush and closed. See how it closed all the way there? I'm telling you guys, grabbing this circle is so much better than trying to grab the end of a piece of wire to maneuver it. And voila! We have finished our memory wire goddess bracelet. And you can add as many jump rings as you want in there to make it longer. This will fit a 6.5-inch wrist because that is my wrist size. Yeah, there's so many different ways to make things work. It's pretty amazing. Now, with all of that being said, I appreciate you guys so much for watching this tutorial. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your guys' support so very much. You guys really have no idea. I am just so grateful for YouTube and the community on YouTube and all of the connections that we can make. If you are new to me, hi, my name is Bailey. If you loved what you saw, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.